Hey, coaches. Welcome back to Football Talk with Coach Chip. It is episode 38, the George Rogers edition. Hey, in episode 38, we're going to talk about the quick passing game and also kind of see how you can have a few quick passing game concepts that can carry over, and you can do RPO stuff with it as well. And let's look at our sponsors for this episode. First off, George Rogers edition, 1980 Heisman winner from South Carolina, went on to play for the Saints. Hey, a little trivia question. Who replaced John Riggins with the Redskins back in the mid-'80s when Riggins retired? That's right, George Rogers. Remember our friends over at Johnny's Pizza in downtown West Point, Georgia. Johnny's New York-style pizza, historic downtown West Point, Georgia. Go see our friend Ben and check out what all he's got on the menu. They've opened the restaurant, the dining room back up. They got social distancing protocols in place, but still the best store-bought pizza you're going to find anywhere in the southeastern United States. If you find yourself on I-85, somewhere between Atlanta and Montgomery, type in Johnny's, West Point, Georgia. And I'm telling you, it's like 3 minutes off the interstate, either exit you take. Also, don't forget our friends Johnny Buckets and Thrift Barringer with the Johnny Buckets podcast with Thrift Barringer. You can find it wherever you get your podcast, places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. I heard Buckets the other day say that another thing was Hubble. I've never even heard of it. I've heard of the Hubble telescope, but I've never heard of the Hubble way of getting podcasts. I do Spotify and have for a few years now. But anywhere you get podcasts, the Johnny Buckets podcast, they get some great guests on there. And I'm not even joking about me being a guest on there. But Josh Pate from 247 Sports, who right now is the go-to guy for all college football information. Guys, they're putting out content when there's no content out there. As far as there's nothing happening in football. But 247 Sports is getting it. Buckets and Thrift are putting content out there on their podcast, even though there's hardly any live sports going on. There's been a few things here lately, golf and some NASCAR. And of course, don't forget, if you're looking for property in West Georgia, it's Tammy Pierce Real Estate. Live, serve, work, play. PineMountainGeorgiaLiving.com. Born and raised in Harris County, that's Tammy Pierce at Tammy Pierce Realty. If you need property, whether you want a place to live, if you want to get rental property, it's great vacation options around here where you can buy something and then put it in a rental program and have property make money for you. If you want to sell something in the West Georgia area, call Tammy Pierce with Tammy Pierce Real Estate right here in Pine Mountain, Georgia. All right, let's get started with some quick passing game. All right, guys, this is the first one. Let's look at this concept here. This is idle out. And I guess some of y'all may say this one here is old as the hills. And some of y'all may say, well, that's pretty cool. I was talking to a FCS OC. He's been in and out of OC jobs. I'm not sure right now if he's an OC or just a quarterback coach. And they're more of a West Coast concept. But they run this. I mean, West Coast attack in their concepts. But they run this right here. And then I got to looking at it and I said, well, this is a good concept because I do a lot of idle stuff. I enjoy the idle route because it really makes that flat defender and or that corner do something, as we like to say, pee or get off the pot. And you don't see many guys run all the way over there to the tick marks. That's what I call these over here on the sideline, these 1 yard line marks. You don't see many folks go over there to cover that. And you don't see anybody go stand by them. And if they're in man, it's going to really clear up the flat. If you're going to put a move on somebody with another receiver, if a guy runs all over and stands on the sideline with the idle guy and the coach is standing over there. I love this concept. It's a real simple, flat read for the quarterback. You just throw it where they ain't. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. You can easily convert this into some type of RPO scheme. If you see what I'm talking about here, you can take this and run some type of off tackle zone, inside power, one back power, or whatever, with the tailback and just move him around and put him anywhere else you want to, and then you can do all kind of different reads out of it. So it's easily convertible. And I didn't want to do this about RPOs. 37 and 37.5 were all about RPOs, as I was trying to explain to some friends and other people, casual fans of the game, or just intense fans of the game who didn't know the inner workings. That's why I did all that the last 2 episodes. But today I want to talk about quick game. I love the idle out. And what you can do, it's a numbers game. And I do this. Not everything we do is mirrored. Not everything I do is mirrored. Not everything I put on this YouTube channel we do. But this one's mirrored. Okay, so whatever. And you decide what you want to do. If you want to put the running back to the boundary and really flood the boundary, okay, you can do that, or you can do it over here to the field. And you got teams like it. Here's what I say. You got even front teams. And I got 2 ways of saying even front. You say even front, that's a 4-man front, right? Yeah, but also, too, think about this. Another way to look at even front is 8-man fronts. And here's my thing about 8-man fronts. I've had coaches and even fans say to me, Coach, you sure do run to your strong side a lot, or you sure do run to the field a lot. Well, I'm going to if you're giving me an 8-man front. I don't mean an 8-man box or anything like that. I'm talking about like a 4-4, 5-3, 3-5. Here's why I say that. If you're going to do that, and no matter what I do, if I go trips left and you're still going to have an outside backer over there on the weak side, how can I run weak if you've got a man advantage over there? Somebody, okay, I'm not a mathematician, okay? You know, nor was my daddy a mathematician, nor do I play a mathematician on TV. But if you got a man advantage to the weak side, why am I going to run to the weak side? And so when I go to if I have a sure enough strong side and all you're going to do is get in your 8-man front, I'm not saying I'm always going to do it. But people look at you like you're stupid. Well, he never runs weak. There is no weak for you if you're the defensive coach. You draw that line down the middle of the formation, and if they got 4.5 guys on one side and 4.5 guys on the other side, or 3.5, or ever how you want to look at it, it's even. It's equal. It's an equal front. So if you have a sure enough strong side, and they've got 4 men over there, just for the sake of argument, they got 4 men over there. Then you got a weak side, and you look over there, and they got 4 men over there. Listen here, Karnak, why are you going to run weak when they got you outnumbered? Now, sometimes you need to, and sometimes you can juke them and counter them and do it. But that's my point. The passing game's the same thing. Look over here. And this is what I tell people. And like I said, one of my good friends is a brilliant defensive coach. And they're going to consider this trips, and against some. Now, if he played against me, he would call this trips. He says it's not trips because he knows I'm going to do stuff like this. Okay? If I got that kind of back. You're not always, it's high school, you're not always going to have that kind of back. So you can do it just like it's trips. So you got that shoot route, you got the quick out, and you got the idle. You flooded the zone. Now look, if you want to do something, and I'm going to show you later how you can do something, you can make it a quarterback RPO. Run like zone left or a 1-back power left. Tell the quarterback to read this guy. If this guy steps up, throw it. If this guy widens, run it. That's why I told you can marry this thing. He said, what are you talking about? All right, first off, he ain't doing nothing but playing deep ball or coming downhill inside the box. He ain't helping jack squat. If this safety can cover this flat, I orbited the moon back in '68. I'm telling you, he can't do it. So look, 1, 2. Again, I'm not a mathematician. 1, 2, 3. You just read it. Block zone left, or 1-back power, ever how you want to do it. Trap left, the RPO games, whatever you want to make it. If this guy, if he just hangs, you got him outnumbered right here. This outside backer's got to cover the flat or cover the flat. You've got, and look, you got 3 guys in the flat, and you're running it to the wide side of the field. So now you've got 3 guys in one zone, but they're not on top of each other. Because you can't do that into the boundary. Okay? As well, I don't think. But so that's a really good quick concept, just idle out. Like I said, I got that from an FCF coach. I won't say his name because I didn't have permission to say. I'll tell folks what you tell me, but I won't tell you. You're the one that told me. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, now here's a new one. This is one I picked up at the Glazier Clinic back in March, the 150, the one they did in Stone Mountain. And I really like this. This was one of the first quick concepts we were going to put in the spring until we got coroned out of that joker. By the way, in Georgia, we're going back June 8th. I know my buddy up in Tennessee started back last week, and some other, I think, going to start this coming up week. But June 8th, we can start back in Georgia with very, 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 very strict guidelines. I really love this concept. I forget what he called it. I have to go back and look at my notes. And I got looking at it a while back, and it's a great quick game concept, but it's also could be used as an RPO. You just won't have the backside tailback. Or you got this guy, he called it a mini curl, 3 big steps, 3 small steps, and curl in. And then you got the quick out right here, the speed out. And if you run it to the boundary, you can make him into an idle. It's just too far to run an idle from right there. But what you do is you're getting this right here and making again. Peter, get off the pot time. What's this dog going to do? Okay. Is he going to expand? Is he going to expand right here? Is he going to sink? Is he going to take that? You got to do one or the other. That's a great concept. I love it. All right, and right here, you run what I call this as a snag. And you're going to make this Mike or make this linebacker cover you. You're going to come right here and run right at him wherever he was and then curl up right behind him. Okay? Now, some of y'all may say, that ain't a snag. It is a snag. It looks like a fish hook. That's when you snag fish with it. Guys, I came up with some of these words before anybody ever came up with them. I was calling crazy crap back in the 80s and 90s just because what stuff looked like. And then later people started calling it something else. Like for years, what I called a sail route is not what they called a sail route. And I was calling it a sail route before there were, and it wasn't what they called it. I just called it a sail route before there was an air raid. Why? Because when I drew it up, it looked like a sail on a sailboat. The route concept. I'm serious. That's why I did it. Hey, when you live in the country, man, you don't even have cable or satellite back in the 80s and 90s. That's the kind of stuff you did. All right. And so he's going to do that. I call this a stab because he's stabbing into the defense. Right there. And this guy here is kind of running a choice or a read, whatever that corner is letting him do. Quarterback a pre-snap this over here. Okay? And of course, if he gets a blitz right here, you got that stab. But now you can take this guy right here. And again, you can do an RPO right here and read this guy. If he comes up to play the run, you just pop it. It's kind of like that stick I've seen some people do, where they kind of run an RPO stick. There's all kind of things you can do with it. You can do this right here. I love this. And some of y'all will remember us doing something like this on another episode. You can run this right out here, the little mini curl, as the coach from Notre Dame Prep up in Michigan called it, with the speed out, and block down and run pin pull or buck with this guy right here, and you're reading these guys. Okay? I wouldn't read this guy. I'd read this guy. Because this guy, we're going to kick him anyway. We're going to kick his butt. Because in our scheme, we'll buck him. So we'll kick him. So we're going to read this cat right here. Okay? If he plays the run at all, your choice out here now, homie. Choose what you want. That's good stuff. I love it. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Now this is one, I really love this one. This is a under with a glance or an under with a slant. I used to call them something else. It's been so long, like a in or something like that. And it was Coach Pollard, who coaches with the Jaguars now. Coach Marcus Pollard, he played with Manning back in Indianapolis, and they called them unders. Indy did. So, so Peyton called them unders. I started calling them unders too about 10, 11 years ago. And he showed me film. And I forget all those little wide receivers they had up there in Indianapolis. And Harrison and all those cats. Dude, you go back and look. And Marcus told me this. He said most of their yards came on, and most of those completions came on under routes. Because what Peyton would do, Peyton would read that flat defender. And it could be on a deep ball. And he would have that widest receiver running an under. And they would get out there and run 2 unders out of twins. They'd run 3 unders, to the wide side of the field. So there's all kind of things. But I love an under route. And now here's what. And let me get on my soapbox again. And some of y'all know I'm prone to get on a soapbox about things. I'm not huge on doing all the square in and square out stuff. And let me tell you why. It's not that I'm just an anti-conformist and I'm against tradition. But folks, I figured this out as a driver's ed instructor years ago. In the real world, there are no 90-degree angles. In the real world, there are no 90-degree angles. And you say, yeah, I got them in my house. Yeah. The only way you can get a 90-degree angle is come to a complete stop. When you draw up plays. And how I figured that out, how I came to this theory of mine, is drawing on the board in driver's education for the kids, drawing the turn and realizing these are kids. They don't know anything about driving. Everything I'm giving them, they're taking me literal, these 15-year-old kids. And so I'm going this and doing that. And I dawned on me one day when a kid was driving and he was trying to get out in the middle of the intersection and turn real fast to go down. And I said, what are you doing? And I realized it wasn't the kid's fault. The kid was doing what he'd been taught to do, what I showed him to do. It's 90-degree. Guys, there are no 90-degree angles. Now, we can talk about a guy running that great 10-yard and out. Well, if he squared it off, at some point he came to a complete stop. That's a law of physics. So my theory is there's no 90-degree angles in the real world. And there's no 90-degree angles in football unless you come to a complete stop. Which, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. Come to a complete stop for a split 1/10 of a second and then make that's fine. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to debate that. But I'm telling you, there are no 90-degree angles in the real world if you're being dynamic, because you have to come to a complete stop to turn right. You got to come to a complete stop to turn left. That's my point about the under route. Notice I'm kind of curving it a little bit. Curving this joker right here. Because I want it fast. Now, he's not going to be going really fast. He's coming off about 3 steps, boom, 3, 4 steps, depending on the kid. But you don't want to go deeper than 5 on these unders. And I'm telling you, they're there. They are there. But you got to throw them. You got to throw them when they're open. It's the kind of thing, they're not going to be open forever. It's like the good-looking girl during prom season. You better ask her early. She ain't going to be open forever. Okay? So the under route. And then right here you got the glance, which is a slant. You can call it a slant if you want to. The slant route, this is what we call the diamond slant, an outside release. Now if you say, well, where's the RPO on that? This is the, this is the Alabama RPO. And you can get up here, you can get in pistol. Okay. You can get in pistol on this joker. And now you can run it either way you want to. Who do you want to read? You want to read the wheel? Or you want to read the mic? The bandit. Right here. Who do you want to read? And you just call it. You do a check with me. You can go zone right. Put him in pistol, go zone right. All right. And front out to it and read the bandit. If he plays the dive, throw it. Okay? If he plays the dive, watch this. He plays the dive, and the quarterback disconnects to throw it here, but this guy fell in. There's that magical under right there. Boy, boy, boy. And you do the same thing back on the other side, see? You do the same thing back on the other side. Just you pick it. Or you can do it backwards. You can call zone right, and you face out away from the play. Okay? And now you're reading the wheel. So you're blocking. You have to lock on and block him on this one. You're blocking these 1, 2, 3, 4 with these 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a hat for a hat, and you're reading this guy right here. Well, you can't block him. You're running zone right, so the tailback's going to go and then hit that right there, right? Well, the quarterback's eyeballing the wheel. Wheel steps in here, disconnect, throw the slant right here. If the outside backer ran with the slant, then the under will be there. You say, what are they pressing us, coach? Well, he's going to come right here. He's got to know, I got to put a move on this guy. So he's going to come off right here. Fast feet, stick that cleat in the ground, boom, right there. Okay? And now the corner's in chase mode. Right? Or you can stem that joker outside a little bit because that corner doesn't want to get beat outside, so you can stem that joker out here. See what I'm talking about? Here, and then come under. Okay? All right, that's all we're going to do today. All right, that's just some quick game and how you can kind of convert it to RPOs. And now I don't recommend replacing one with the other. So we're not going to do RPOs. We're just going to do a quick game. We're not going to do a quick game. We're just going to do RPOs. But you can make part of your quick game your RPO game as well, you see. And that way when the quarterbacks and the receivers are repping their throws, they're repping their RPO throws, they're repping their quick game throws. I like to call that stealing reps. Okay? And so these are just things you can do. All right, remember, give me a hit at siegel.chip@gmail.com. Comment down below. Folks, subscribe. If you watch this and you're not subscribing, please subscribe. Because there's some good stuff. Go back. There's all kind of stuff back in the early episodes on Buck, on Power. I'm going to start revisiting some Power stuff. I've started a little Zoom group with some coaches all over the country. If you're interested in that, get up with me at siegel.chip or football talk with Coach Chip at gmail.com. It is a mouthful, but it's easy to remember. Football talk with Coach Chip, and I spell with, W-I-T-H, instead of just the W/. With Coach Chip at gmail.com. I've only got one, the email from Google when I set it up, and then an email that I sent myself. Nobody will email football talk with Coach Chip at gmail.com. I don't know what the conflict is. You football coaches, is that too many letters? All right, so give me a holler. If you want to be a part, by the way, of that Zoom, I got a couple of coaches from Cali, Florida, Tennessee. Guy from Ohio is going to join us. Guy from Chicago. Guy from Maryland. Somewhere else I'm forgetting. Oh, Georgia and Alabama. Hey, see y'all next time on episode 39. But until then, you've been watching Football Talk with Coach Chip. Y'all be elite.